Amen.
And so unfortunately, they've made it more difficult for those that are true and those that are in this thing for the real deal.
That's right.
So you have to use your discerning of spirits and your discernment to discern that.
Right. Yes.
But the truth is, at the end of the day, it takes finances to go to Zimbabwe and Mozambique.
Yes.
We'll be holding crusades in both countries.
Amen.
Hundreds.
Amen. Praise
I didn't
God.
say tens. I said hundreds are going to be saved.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Many are going to be delivered of demonic powers.
Glory to God. Yes, Lord.
That's not politically correct to talk about demon possession and people being freed from demons.
Yes, Lord. Come on, brother.
But it's in the Bible. Jesus did it. And those demons that existed back then, they continue to exist. And therefore, there's still people that are possessed with demons who open themselves up to witchcraft and other things, and or even parents that had spiritual authority over them brought them into such situations.
Oh, Lord, forgive them, Lord.
And so there'll be many delivered from demon possession. There'll be many healed from sicknesses, diseases on both sides in Zimbabwe, and then we'll cross over to Mozambique. We'll be holding 2 pastors and leaders training in each country. And then the last goal is to plant our 2nd Dream Nations Church in Mozambique, which will be our 19th Dream Nations Church all together around the world. He said that's the heart of why we're going. But the plane ticket isn't free. The budget to be able to put together such crusades that draw the people, that help get the people there, and ultimately we understand prayer and those things, but still, and the kind of sound systems that you need. And we do have a sound system in South Africa, but we found that it's far more expensive than purchasing others to try to get across the border, because in many of the countries, especially when they see a different color of skin, they think you're rich, and so prices go up. And so we found that one of our strategies needs to be in the future, as God provides, to have a sound system in each region, in each country really that we're in. So we don't have to rent those things. But at this time, that's not the case. We just have one in one region that we're able to use in South Africa and in Swaziland. And so what I'm saying is, the Lord brought into our heart, and we were declaring that God was bringing financial breakthrough, because it's His will that His people be blessed. Yes. And I shared with you just a little bit, and actually it was on a Wednesday night that I went into more of the teaching when I was talking about the word uncommon. And if you haven't gotten that CD, Uncommon Teaching, it's back there also on the table as you're leaving out. You can get that. The very spirit of Baal was Jezebel. That's what Jezebel herself worshipped. And we often talk about the spirit of Jezebel, which is a spirit of manipulation and control. Not just the woman Jezebel, but the spirit. But even that spirit of Jezebel was under the principality of the spirit of Baal. And Baal was believed by the Canaanites that possessed the land before the children of Israel went in. They worshiped the spirit of Baal in different forms, but ultimately it was Baal worship. And Baal worship, the worship of Baal, was they believed Baal was a god that provided for them rain and provided for them the necessities for their families, for their fields, and for their flocks. And so ultimately in that day, what you needed to gain wealth came from Baal. When the Israelites came in and said, oh, no, Jehovah does that.
Amen.
The one true God of heaven does that.
That's right. That's right.
Then Baal went on the offensive and began to attack. What the children of Israel needed to do was understand that God was moving on their behalf, because He said, go in and possess the land. And instead of hesitating, they should have struck. But we know the Bible says they possessed part of the land. But if you continue to read and study, you'll find that they didn't They didn't go take it all. Instead, they did exactly the opposite of what God said, and they started intermarrying within the Canaanites. And the point was not because of a different race, but because of different belief systems, and that they worshiped Baal and they had idols to Baal. And God knew if they were to intermarry, they would not stand their ground and live only for Him. And therefore, there became this intermix of worship. Many of the Israelites began to worship both Jehovah and Baal. There can't be a mixture. Can I just stop and say, probably on this Sunday morning, everybody is, completely sold out to Jesus, but you can't step one foot in evil and one foot in holy and expect to have freedom and expect to have the wind behind you and be able to defeat the enemy. You got to go all the way, all the way, all the way. God wants all of you. God wants all of you. I'm not preaching perfection. I'm not preaching you got to be perfect. I'm saying you got to sell out all the way. When you come to Jesus, you're saying, Jesus, here's not 90% of me or 85, or I'm going to hang on to this, but you can have the rest of me. And then you get that mixture, and then you get a hindrance. No, you say, Jesus, here is all of me. I can't clean myself up, change myself, but I'm coming and bringing my faith all of me, and I'm asking you to change me, rearrange me, forgive me, and I purpose in my heart to go from this day forward and live for you. And then we mess up, we make mistakes, but it's not the same of picking up things that are evil and having some righteousness, and then that evil that we chose to pick up and go on and live in it in a mixture with the knowledge and understanding that it is a mixture, but we're going to toe the line and have both of.
That's it.
No.
It don't work.
No.
It don't work.
That's like walking on a chain link fence for 48 hours. Eventually you're going to fall.